Okay, so as you can see, the garage is a bit over full. The workbench needs to be cleaned up. But let me just show you this workbench. Let's grab the corner. And as you see, I've broken my workbench and another part just fell off it, which are really just lag screws. So if we take a look at this workbench, it actually has what looks like a good 3-inch oak top, but it's actually only about this much, 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. It's got a drawer, which is pretty useless, although I do use it. It doesn't hold too much, it doesn't come all the way out, it's not a full extension, and I lose everything that's in it. Shelf underneath, kind of useful. It's got adjustable steel legs. The problem, as some of you have pointed out in previous videos, is I got this bench and I used it and thought it was all right. It was very expensive. I thought it was all right because I used it basically as an assembly bench. But when I started using it for woodworking, particularly with hand tools and hand planes, it rocked back and forth a lot. And that problem is mostly due to, one, those feet right here, which are just, you know, a bolt with little spindle, although adjustable, and two, connected up to the top, it's just lag bolted in, and then one bolt sort of these shelves bracing these legs, and the legs are extendable, as you can see there. So again, not so tough. So it's been moved twice across the country, here in Australia, from Melbourne to Queensland and back. It's finally sort of met its match. So I have decided I will build a new workbench, and I'm going to build a Moravian workbench first, knock down, so I can move it around. And we won't be in this house permanently. It'll be another 1.5 years at the most, I would say. Possibly just 12 more months, or actually 10 months at this point into this house. So I'm going to have to find, first of all, storage space or a workshop when we move into one of our other houses. Well, because this one's a rental, we'll move into one of the houses we own. Also, I've got some good hardwood pallets, so I'm thinking about using these stretchers as legs to just repair this bench to keep it usable for now, and then we'll build a new bench in the near future. Also have some 2x4s. So they could be helpful for the stretchers, so the legs, we'll use them. Okay, so that's what's left of the bench base. I tried to unbolt it. The bolts are stripped. And the holes are elongated, which is why it's all wobbly. Anyway, it's no good for woodworking. It's good for an outfit table, an assembly bench, except it's got vices on it, and it's meant to be a woodworking bench. I am going to use a Sawzall to cut the legs off. Cut 3 of them off. Forgot to film it. Got a bit excited, and so we'll get into that now. Here's the remnants of the bench, ready to go to the tip or to a dumpster at work. Here is the bench top, so as you can see, a bit fake. It's not as thick as it looks. However, it's still a good 1.5 inches in thickness of oak. So we'll work on getting some legs together for this and putting it in place here. Okay, so we talked in a previous video, which I'll link up there, about knocking down pallets 2 ways. This is a way I didn't show, but this allows me to get the nails out of the beams so I can run it through the thicknesser, dress them, and use the beams. Leaves a bit of wood things, pieces of wood I could use to glue up panels. Not sure what hardwood this is, but we'll see. after we dress it. Okay, so for these beams, I'm gonna call them, we're just gonna knock the bits of wood off that are left so the nails are protruding, and that'll be easier to actually get them out, pull the nails so we can run it through the thicknesser and dress the wood for use. Okay, so there are all the pallets denailed, which is a pain in the butt. I would not do it to get this kind of wood. I would just buy it from the big box store. Except where I am in Melbourne, Australia, it's not possible. Everything's shut down for COVID lockdown. I also have some other 2x4s, hardwood and treated pine. So I planed down 2 sides, all the wood, 4 sides on some of the 2x4 timber. Okay, so there's one of the bases. As you can see, pretty good, but not perfect. Got them labeled and numbered so that they go in the specific spots. And I'm going to use some construction adhesive that'll fill some of these gaps. Also screws. Not making a fine piece of woodworking, it's just making a piece of shop furniture. Okay, so I'm gonna sand it and give it a quick coat of Scandinavian oil. I'll redo the top of the bench later. Yeah, it is what it is. It's not exactly square. The joints aren't perfect. However, it is way sturdier than the metal stand legs ever were. So what have I done? Obviously it's upside down. You've seen how it goes together. I got those two things here. I'm gonna round the edges, obviously. I could put a strut across here, or possibly on the inside and just make a shelf. Not sure. Not sure I have enough good wood to do either. So for now, I'll just leave that. As I said, sturdier than it was. So let's give it a bit of a sand around the edges and flip it over.